Hello, this is PTG ma'am, and today's video will be for my class 12 students, commerce students. And your BST exam is just around the corner. I'm a little late, didn't get the time to do these videos lately, but here comes the videos that you all were waiting for. You had asked for it. So these are some of the suggestions as regards to your business studies class 12. So what I will be doing is I will be going chapter wise. I don't know. I know that you don't have many days left, but I'm sure you're already through with all the lessons and chapters. So this will be just a quick revision, telling you about what is important for from which chapters. So I'll begin with the first chapter, which you all know is nature and significance of management. So if you're interested, listen to it, and if you like it, then please do share so that your friends can also benefit. Let's begin. Okay, so coming to the first chapter, which is nature and significance of management. Now this chapter remains important. Okay, every year you get quite many questions from this chapter. Actually, each chapter has its own significance because your marks is divided in that manner only. So you cannot say that any particular chapter is not important. Each chapter is important, but still if you consider, then we do find a lot of questions coming from this chapter. It's easy, the chapter is easy, so do not think of skipping this chapter. That would be my advice. Now, first thing that you get to see in this chapter is obviously the meaning of management, which is very simple. Management is the art of getting things through the efforts of other people. To manage means to manage men tactfully. Okay, so this is a very general definition, or the meaning in very simple language. In your NCERT textbook, you might have a few definitions given by some renowned people. So you can just remember one or two, but usually Cbse nowadays don't give much of definitions. It's because they don't prefer the rote learning part anymore, but definitions are something that you should know. So one or two definitions, good enough, remember it. Otherwise, just keep the meaning of management in your mind, which is pretty simple. Okay, now I find students getting a bit confused with the word concept, because in your syllabus or in the curriculum, you must have seen that it is written management and its concepts. Now, many a time students ask me, when this concept thing is given, they say, ma'am, it's only written management and its concept. Does that mean we don't have the characteristics? Does it mean we don't have, maybe the advantages or disadvantages? Is something like that? No, my dear, please do try to understand that concept word is a very wide thing. So when we talk about the concepts, we mean almost everything about that particular term or that particular word or whatever. So when we say management and management concept, it will cover the meaning of management, the definition of management, the characteristics of management, everything is coming under the word concept. Okay, so don't get confused by that word. So that is about the meaning of management. Now, management, there are three main aspects of management as a process. So management as a social process, management as an integrating process, and management as a continuous process. So you need to know why it is called a social process. Social process, why? It is dealing with people. Okay, so it's a social process. Integrating process, why? Because in management we will be integrating different things. We are putting in people, we are putting in their efforts, okay? We are putting in different kinds of resources, financial resources, human resources, material part, everything needs to be put in when we are talking about management. So that is integration of the integrating process. And when we talk as a continuous process, because management continues, it's a never ending thing, it's a never ending concept. Okay, you start with planning, you carry on, you have different functions of management, you come to controlling, and it doesn't end there, it again goes back to planning. So as long as you are continuing with your business, the concept of management will always be there. So there is no end to management, it's a continuous process. Okay, so these three terms are there. Another very important term and very, very common for your question is effectiveness and efficiency. How do you differentiate between being effective and being efficient? Now, what kind of questions can you expect here? Well, both direct questions and case-based questions. Okay, if it's direct, then it will come as a very short type of question that differentiate between being effective and efficient. Okay, but more common type of question is case study, where you are given examples of two workers, and they are either achieving their target within target means doing their work within the given period of time, but maybe they are exceeding their budgets, and there is another one who is doing it in the least possible cost, utilizing the resources properly and all. These two kinds of workers will be given, and you will be asked to comment on who is being efficient and who is being effective, and also with reasons why you are saying that this particular person is effective or not efficient, or efficient not effective, or both effective and efficient. So this part remains very, very important. Next we have the characteristics of management or the features of management. Again, what kind of questions? This can come as a direct question. Okay, it can be an elaborate type of question where you have to give the keywords, and yes, please give a lot of importance to your keywords. Okay, it might be mentioned, it might not be mentioned, it will not be mentioned in your question that you have to give the keywords. I'm sure you know the meaning of keywords. It's the heading. Okay, the heading and then the explanations. Why I'm telling you this? Because there are marks usually separately for the keywords and the explanation. So if you are missing out on any of these, chances of you not getting the full marks is quite high. And why would you give them a chance to cut off your marks, right? If you know the answer, you write it in the complete manner. Don't give us any scope to deduct any marks from you. So now coming to the characteristics. So yes, you can have a direct question. Either it will come as characteristics of management or features of management. Apart from it, again, case study based question, analytical question, high order thinking skills question, where you might be given a passage, about an organization, and you have to observe it, and from that passage, by reading that passage, you will get some of the features of management from there. Maybe you will have to write about that these features are prominent in this particular passage, and then you elaborate. Now coming to the characteristics, management is goal-oriented process. I'm not going into the explanation part because it will make the videos very long. Some portions I'll explain, all I will not. If you need an explanation type of video, you do send your messages. I will try to make another one. Management is all pervasive. This particular point is very, very important. Okay, why is management all pervasive? Because it prevails everywhere. It's universal in nature, irrespective of the fact whether it's small, big, the organization is small or big, whether it's private or public, whether it's business oriented, non-business oriented, whatever might be the case. But the need for management is felt everywhere. Okay, so this all pervasive point is very important. Give special importance to that. Management as a multi-dimensional activity, very important. This you can get as case studies. This you can get as a separate question, not just as a part of your characteristics of management, but as a separate question itself, that why is management a multi-dimensional activity? Because management, remember those words, okay? Management of work, management of people, and management of operations. So this part remains important. Next is management is a continuous process. This I have already explained to you. Management is a group activity, definitely, because if we are alone, the question of managing ourselves doesn't arise. Management will arise when you have people to deal with. Okay, so it's always a group activity. Next we have management is a dynamic function. Why? Because it has to adapt itself to the changes that are coming around in the environment. You cannot, yes, there are principles. We take reference of the principles, we try to stick to them, but it's not rigid. Okay, the flexibility has to be there, and you have to modify yourself, you have to adjust yourself to the changes that are happening around you. Otherwise, you will not be able to survive when we are talking about business. So, management is definitely a dynamic function, okay? It has to adapt to the changes happening in the environment. Management is an intangible force, does not have physical presence. You cannot, it's not a thing, it's not something like this that, oh, this is management, oh, how nice. We cannot see that, we cannot touch it, it doesn't have any physical presence, but it has a huge presence, it has a huge impact. You can always feel the presence of management when you visit a particular place. We say, na, this place is so well managed. Now, why are we saying that? Through the operation, through the way everything is happening out there, we come to that conclusion that, oh, it's such a well managed place. And somewhere we go and we get disturbed and we say, oh my God, just look at them, there's no management. Now, why are we saying that? It's not a thing, okay? It's not something which has physical presence. We cannot touch it, we cannot see it, but we can obviously feel its presence. So these are your characteristics part.